May 2023 Northeast Family Visit.
Hi, this is Janet, and I'm Sly. Back in 2016, we both decided it was time to stop working, buy an RV, and start traveling the country and the world. And once the RV was pretty much the way we wanted it, we started our travels, and we've been doing it ever since. So join us as we explore this country and the world, and maybe we can even meet up with some of you along the way.
We start this long trip at Fort Sam Houston in San Antonio, Texas. Our goal? All the way up to Cleveland, Ohio, and that is not a short trip. There's going to be a lot of gas stops along the way and several overnights because the entire trip is going to take us 4 days. And why are we doing this? Well, it's my dad's 90th birthday and there's no way we're going to miss that. On day 1, we made it out of Texas into Louisiana and to Barksdale Air Force Base, which is where our first overnight begins. So today is Saturday, which means that the commercial gate is closed and I ended up having to wind my way through these obstacles to get in on the main gate. This was designed for cars and it's really hard to do in an RV. And if you're thinking it doesn't look so hard, well, keep in mind, this video is at 3 times the speed. I am crawling through these obstacles. Barksdale Air Force Base is nice, and it was a great place for us to stop along the way. Although I will say that the RV park was somewhat lacking. But that's okay, and it was a great park for an overnight stay. It was pretty enough. And of course, to celebrate getting there, we had a hailstorm. Well, gee, that's fun. The next morning, we set off, back through the ziggy-zaggies. Oh, and the hailstorm? No damage, just a little extra noise. Either way, going out was a little bit easier than coming in. Once we left the base, we ended up driving through town, which we don't do very often. But soon enough, we were out of town, back on the freeway, and on our way into Tennessee, because our next stop was going to be in Tennessee. We were aiming for Memphis. Why Memphis? Well, we were aiming to do about 500 miles a day, and this was 500 miles. And there was a military base there, which means another ziggy-zaggy into Midway RV Park. Midway was just an overnighter, and the next morning, off we go to Nashville, where we were going to spend the evening with Janet's sister, Megan. I should also point out that we left the RV at Midway. We're now just driving our car. Megan, as usual, was a great host, and thank you very much for putting up with us. Your cats are absolutely wonderful, and we enjoyed their company as well. I mean, how could you not love these beautiful little fur balls? Anyway, as I said, we left the RV back at Midway and we're now in our car. And that's because our next trip after this is Kentucky, and there's no point in dragging the RV all the way up to Ohio. After a wonderful stay with Megan, we hit the road again, and now we're up in Ohio with my family. We stayed with my mother, and we had a great time visiting her and some of the many friends that we have up in Cleveland. Some that we haven't seen for a long time. But of course, the star of the visit, my dad, and he is 90 today, and we had a great time celebrating his birthday at his house. After a couple of days up in Cleveland, we headed off to West Virginia to visit my niece who just had a baby. Look at that little bundle. She's just a few days old. Man, was that ever a great visit. My sister pointed out to me that I am now a great uncle. Hell, I was always a great uncle, so not much has changed, although I had fun pointing out to my sister that she's now a grandmother, and that's way more fun. After a short visit, we moved on to Norfolk, Virginia, where we went to visit my friend Russ and his wife Diane. I've known Russ for a very long time. We met over in Italy when we were both serving in the Air Force together, and we make a point of visiting each other anytime we're anywhere close to one another. If you've never been up to the Norfolk, Virginia area, I'd recommend a visit. It's nice. Although technically we are not in Norfolk, we are in Smithfield, and that's where he lives. It's close to the river, so there's a lot of nice parks to walk around and of course sitting and having a drink while overlooking the marina and the river. We also went to a speakeasy because he'd never been to one and we couldn't pass that up. Janet and I enjoy speakeasies. We like sitting at the bar. We enjoy watching the mixologists do their work. I mean, check this out. Is that cool or what? And it's also very, very tasty. After visiting for a couple of days, we were off again. This time, we were driving through Maryland and then through West Virginia. And let me tell you, you blink, you miss it because now you're in Pennsylvania. A quick stop at my sister's for an evening and then back up to Cleveland. We stopped in Cleveland just to say goodbye to family and pack our bags. And we had to go. I mean, look at this. There is snow on the car. I mean, what's that all about? We have been avoiding snow for the past several years, and now it's snowing. We don't like the cold, so it's time for us to leave. And if that's not bad enough, we also emptied all the bourbon, so definitely time to go. 2 days later, we were back at the RV just to find out that the slide was broken. But there'll be more information on that later once we figure out just what is going on. And with that, our whirlwind trip up to the Northeast has come to an end. Man, did we do a lot of driving, and we are pooped, and we just need to stop for a while. Our next stop is up to Kentucky, and we'll get some rest before we start the partying all over again. Janet and I both hope you all enjoyed this video and you enjoy following us around the country, and maybe our trips inspire you to do some trips of your own. But until then, we certainly hope that you continue to follow us as we explore our next stop.